Hi all. Is AgriTech really the next big thing for young professionals, or is it a niche that only a few can crack? Hi all, welcome to Let's Hear It from Powered by My Job Factory. I am your host Ajay Rankar, and this is the podcast wherein we really get candid with top industry leaders, HR heads, and CEOs who are working very hard to shape and reshape today's dynamic work environment. Joining with us today is a leader who is cultivating change, not only just on the fields but in the way business and agriculture connect. Meet Mr. Ritesh Sahay, co-founder of Unikisan Agrotech Pvt. Ltd, a unique venture that's creating an organic farming ecosystem, blending technology, sustainability, and farmer empowerment. With over 15 years of experience spanning agriculture, industrial sectors, and business development, Ritesh ji has been on the forefront of agri-tech innovation in India. So, viewers, if you're a job seeker planning to make your next career move or an agri-tech employee working very hard to build successful teams, this is the podcast for you. So, without wasting a single second, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Let's hear it from Ritesh Sahay. Ritesh ji, we are thrilled to have you here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ajay ji. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
So, I a significant loss of agricultural land due to urbanization in India. Okay, so
Yes.
keeping this thing in mind, is agri-tech really a career option for today's youth, or is it still seen only as a family business sector?
No, I think it's a career option. See, wherever there is a problem, there is an opportunity as well. That is the first thing.
Yes.
And in India, we do see the scarcity of lands because year by year, as we are growing, we do see that a lot of because of the deforestation and urbanization, the agricultural lands are decreasing, and the farmers are too demotivated to some extent because the interest in farming is also decreasing day by day. This is the reality, ground reality.
Yes.
So, what drives farmer is three primary things. If we can help any farmer in India, anywhere, first is to reduce his input cost. Second is to increase his production and yield. Third is to give him a good market. So these are three primary things which Unikisan focuses on primarily, and
Mhm.
that will help farmer to upgrade himself and the entire community of the farming, as well as it will it will boost interest in the farming and help our lands, help to grow more agricultural production in the lands, and thereby we can be more self-independent, self-dependent, and form a good ecosystem. As far as the career is concerned, for every youth who want to pursue a career, because right now, this is a technological era, where AI
Right.
is replacing some of the things. Many of us see that we don't have enough job opportunities anywhere in primarily most of the sectors. If you have a coding or any IT background, there are a lot of challenges, a lot of layoffs happening because of the AI. In agri-tech
Correct.
particularly, there are a lot of phases. It's not only AI, it's about a transformation of the
Correct.
system through technology, which is an AI built, as well as multiple things, multiple scenarios are there. So in agri-tech, there are a lot of career options available for our youths who want to build a career. That can be as an agronomist, that can be as a data scientist, that can be in a supply chain management, that can be a marketing, that can be an advisor, principal scientist. So there are a lot of career options. There are career options in AI as well in agriculture, which we are doing in Unikisan. There is a separate division for AI that basically helps farmer helps to get a technological boost in our company, where farmers are empowered to
Oh, I see.
pursue organic farming without any dependency. So we have a different AI wing, but we have a different opportunities also for the youth who want to pursue their career, as I just mentioned to you. So career
Right.
opportunities are really very very high. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Such a wide and such a correct answer, Ritesh ji. Uh, Going by this, I was just going through your website. See, from my point of view, Unique Kisan is not a normal business. It's a startup. It's a purpose-driven business. It's an impact-driven business. So it's not
Yes.
something like deep tech startups like where. So keeping this thing in mind, what kind of skills do you look for when hiring for a startup like Unikisan? Does education degrees matter for you, or is it all about attitude also? So how do you
Yeah,
go
I
about
would say
hiring? Yes.
that's a very nice question. I would say it's a combination of everything. It's the degree or the education will give us an aptitude mostly. it will give us a confidence to pursue a career. But it is our inner will, or you can say the youth of the inner will of the youth who want to develop himself and aspire to be agripreneur or to that level, to a leader in agriculture.
Right.
So I would say there are different skill sets that we need here. We don't need only an education, core education, because education will give you an aptitude only right now. But real time things happens on the field. If you see, if you go on the farm field, if you meet a farmer, farmer is the best person
Right.
because the experience that farmer has. Any
Right.
degree, any agriculture degree, or any scientist, he may not having the that much of experience that what farmer gets when he actually do the farming. So getting that knowledge is very crucial. So the experience combined with education and combined with the inner will to grow as well as to become more dynamic is most important thing, as well as to basically create an impact in the entire ecosystem. That is the most important thing for any youth. So not only education, but also these combined attributes will make him really good candidate to have a good career with our company.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have actually answered in the very right way. But just taking this question ahead, so Ritesh ji, when you are shortlisting candidates, this is a very specific answer. While it comes to shortlisting candidates, what's that one thing that catches your eye instantly?
So I look after many things actually. I have been interviewing a lot of candidates for different roles in my company. They can be a junior roles, there can be a senior roles. So there are a lot of candidates whom I'm interviewing. The most things that I'm looking for in the candidates is basically the basics in agriculture. Mostly the first thing, the core basics. It's not like a very in-depth knowledge, but the core basics in agriculture. Plus their willingness to learn and contribute to the company and their willingness to grow further with the company. That is what I'm looking basically how they can contribute their best, along with their out of skills, how they will innovate things in a better way and provide a more meaningful solution to enhance the business. So these are the things which I'm looking mostly from the candidates.
Just moving on to the next question, how do you spot talent who can thrive in a startup environment? I have just mentioned earlier, Unikisan is not just like any other company. It's an
Yeah.
impact-driven, purpose-driven startup. I'm repeating this again and again. So, how do you spot a talent who can thrive in a startup environment like Unikisan? I'm asking
Yeah.
about
So for
talent.
yeah.
ये थोड़ा
Yes. Yes.
practical question है.
या मैं आपको इसका बहुत प्रैक्टिकल आंसर देता हूँ. सो ज्वाइनिंग अ स्टार्टअप एंड ज्वाइनिंग you can say a professional company or an MNC or a corporate is a
Right.
different thing altogether. So first thing, when you are joining a startup, it's a purpose-driven startup. So when any candidate joins a startup, and that too purpose-driven startup like Unikisan, they should be focused not only for the regular work that Unikisan executes, but the innovation also that we bring on day-to-day basis. So in startup, it's not like a 9 to 6 job frame that we work. It's like a more or less possibly more than 12 hours per day job frame that we look from a candidate. And even it's not mandatory to work every day. It's like putting the most right efforts in right direction that will lead to right results. So I encourage youth, when you're joining a startup, it should be mostly purpose driven and not only a career aspirant. That you should be able to put a value to the table when you are joining a startup, and then put a value to the entire farming ecosystem. That is how it is mostly.
Correct. Correct. Moving on to the next question, ये इससे ही connected है. So some candidate who has got zero experience in agricultural sector but is passionate about sustainability, impact drivenness. So do they stand a chance to get into an agritech sector?
See, again, it depends on his interest. See, there are few things here. One is the interest, and other is the education level. So the interest and the passion that also drives youth to pursue a career in agriculture. Now, I'll give you an example. I have hired few of the candidates previously who were not having a good experience in agriculture. They were having some education, not education in agriculture, some different education. But if you have interest and a passion, then that drives you to really perform very well and execute to the perfection. So it all depends. See, as I already told, that education will give you an aptitude. It will give you an idea. It will give you, it will help you to basically frame yourself in a better stand. But again, the real time practical things that you learn and execute, that matters the most. And particularly when you are working on a startup that is purpose driven, that will matter most, even if you are having zero experience. But if you learn things quickly in 3 to 6 months, and that practical knowledge and the practical experiences are good enough for you to grow further in the career. So that is my answer basically. So even if the student is not having the education relevant background, still there is an opportunity more to learn.
Yes.
But then he has to make special efforts in that particular sector, pursue or have that interest and passion that will drive him particularly to grow further in the company.
Great, great. Job seekers with non-agritech background, this is a very important point for you. So, coming back to this question again, so how should, actually this question which I will be putting it to you, this ideally should be put up to a hiring head or an HR manager, लेकिन मैं एक CEO खास करके startup CEO से सुनना चाहता हूँ. How should job seekers approach startup CEOs? Is cold messaging acceptable to founders?
No, cold messaging. Usually, I get a lot of messages and I get a lot of cold messages, particularly in the LinkedIn and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not practically possible to review each and every profile for us. So I prefer to have a resume sent directly in our through our professional email ID. That gives a more professional approach for any student or any candidate who want to apply in our startup. Cold email will give some visibility, but then it doesn't get the attention that it needs. So professional email is always welcome. It also shows the approach, how the candidate wish or how the candidate desires himself to present before the company, and how he is aspiring to work with us.
Great, great. Moving on to the next question very quickly. So, what's your honest advice to young graduates who want to work in impact-driven startup sectors but are confused whether to pick up a safe job or a so-called risky job in a startup?
See, there are a lot of good, there are a lot of good things and bad things. I would not say it's a entire risky
Yeah,
thing
oh,
as of
yeah.
now. So
Yes.
in a startup, basically, when they're working, when any candidate they start a career with a startup, there are a lot of risk associated if it's an early stage startup, because the growth of a startup, you may be knowing, it's not linear. It's like
Okay.
a you can say exponential, and it happens depending on the scenarios that startup goes through, like the scalability of the startup and a different thing. So if the growth is exponential, the growth of the candidate or growth of the candidate who joins a startup, there the growth will also be exponential. So
Great.
with the
Right.
startup, it's always a risk,
Yes.
but the bet is up to the candidate how he wants to figure himself. And for the purpose-driven startup, he will get an award for the exponential growth that startup can predict, like Unikisan. So we are growing at 5x pace and predicting 10x growth in coming years. So the candidates that are working with us, they can also predict the same growth. So
Correct.
with startup, that's a benefit. With
Benefit.
other companies, you can have a linear growth or depending on the budget of the different companies that they have.
And in any ways, even layoffs are happening in big companies also. I don't want to name them because it might drift away the conversation. View, what makes someone employable today beyond degrees and experience?
I think it's mostly related to his willingness, his passion, and interest. See, these three things are very important, and discipline, of course. So, discipline, willingness, passion, and interest, all things will help himself to grow as well as the company. Now, this doesn't come at random. Now, like if you're hiring a scientist, let's say he's a very good in technical, he knows each and everything about the agriculture basics, even organic farming, he's very much aware of things. But in the on the field, if the execution is poor, or if like the farmer feels that the connection is not happening, the
Mm-hmm.
connection of a particular candidate when he goes to the field or meets with the farmer in agri-tech field, because in agri-tech we don't expect everything to work on the computer.
Right.
For analytics and AI, those roles may be more specific to computer. But when the candidates move on the field, there has to be a connection with the farmer. That emotional touch has to be there.
Right.
So those things are very important. Emotional touch, the emotional aspects, emotional intelligence, and his interest, passion to connect people, to connect farmers, and grow himself and the company. So these things are very crucial.
Great. Great. So we come to the last question of this episode. Ritesh ji, what's your message for students or job seekers who want to break into agri-tech? but don't know where to start, how to start?
See, first thing will be the determination from the candidate, because applying in agri-tech startups, it is not like a cakewalk. It is not like you will be already working 9 to 6 in front of a computer and saying that okay, my work is done. So determination to put all the attributes together along with your emotional skills and the people convincing skills. So it's like your technical, your people convincing, your farmer convincing skills, your ability to handle the team, all comes together when you are working in agritech. So once you are determined to have a career in agritech, look after different aspects, look after different challenges that you may address, or look after the larger thing, like that is the purpose that you may be solving. So if you have the determination to prove yourself, then you join agritech. Otherwise, if you want to stick to a coding job, I think that it's a
That is
very restrictive role. Yeah.
strictly. So, Ritesh, it was actually such an exciting and a good experience and a learning experience talking to you. And there is a surprise element. I had not mentioned it earlier. We call this as a rapid fire question, just to make this thing exciting. Ritesh, I expect you to answer rapid fire question either in one word or a sentence, but then a short and a compact sentence. You are allowed to be humorous also at times. So, my first question to you is define farming in one word.
It is a skill.
O- Okay. What, who will win in the long run? Technology or tradition?
Technology.
My goodness. I thought it could be a combination, but okay. So what's that one myth about agriculture you wish people should stop believing?
Uh, it's like agriculture will lead to a loss for a farmer, because it's all
Mm.
approach and the skill that farmer pursues. So it's not always a loss making profession. It gives you profit.
Uh, Correct. Next question is define startup life in 3 words.
So a challenge, then innovation, and you can say determination.
क्या बात है, क्या बात है. Full marks for you. uh, Coffee with a farmer or investor meet, which excites you most?
But what can you repeat?
Coffee with a farmer or an investor meet, which excites you more?
It's like it is very subjective, but I would say both excites me depending
Well,
on the scenario which I'm addressing. Talking to a farmer is like taking a customer or acquiring a customer, basically in our company, and talking with investor is basically having his expertise and experiences on board to help company grow.
and and of course funding also, which will take a startup to next level. If
Yes,
not
yes.
an agri-tech entrepreneur, what you would have been?
I would have been, you can say, a scientist mostly.
My goodness. I'm talking to a scientist. Okay, I come to the last question of this rapid fire question because I understand the time constraint. What's tougher, convincing a farmer or convincing an investor?
That's a good question. I would say convincing a farmer is more tougher,
Oh,
because farmer will judge you straight away. When you talk to a farmer, you talk to his practices, he will judge you whether you are smart enough to know the things, or you are or you just a very layman language. Convincing to an investor, if you are prepared, you can convince him. But if you go to a farmer site and ask him the regarding his practices and everything, and you want to present and acquire him, it's difficult because you want to acquire him as a customer. So it's slightly more tougher.
no wonder they say agri-tech startups in India are very difficult to scale up. So Ritesh ji, with this question, I come to the end of this particular episode. So I mean, it was really very good experience.
I would answer this last question.
Yes.
Agritech startup are difficult to scale up, but using technology and the right approach, scalability is not a question. For Unikisan, if you see the way we are scaling, and that too, not burning too much. So we are
Okay.
EBITDA positive last year, and our growth here this year is 5x, and we are on track to grow 10x maybe next year. So with the right approach and technology front, I think every agritech startup has a potential to scale up rapidly.
Great,
Yes.
great. It was amazing talking to you, Ritesh. Such a learning. experience, not only me, but to the job viewers and to the viewers also. So, viewers, at My Job Factory, we believe that job hunting should not be just like shooting an arrow in the dark. It is much, much more than just pressing the apply button. It should be about finding the right workplace, a workplace that aligns with your values, your personality, and your career goals and aspirations. And that is why we have built a platform called myjobfactory.com that basically connects candidate personas with dream workplaces. And coming back to Ritesh here again to you, as a part of thank you, we are offering you 3 free job postings for your company wherein you can showcase your company culture with photos and videos. You can put into practice various employer branding ideas, and you can promote your employee value propositions along with detailed job descriptions in order to attract top talent and build engaged teams. So viewers, if you are a job seeker listening, please log on to myjobfactory.com now, wherein you will notice that we have turned simple job listings into creative and real workplace stories. The job you might be looking for might just be there. And if you are a CEO or an HR leader wanting to share your recruitment philosophy, your company's culture, please get in touch with us. We would be more than happy to feature you on this podcast. So, viewers, bye for now. Please take care and please do not forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated. Bye once again.
Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Have a nice day.
View what makes someone employable today beyond degrees and experience.